Hello everyone, what's up? It's Vandiril here, and today we're gonna try to break the tutorial. So 2 days ago there was this post saying that you can win tutorial by going AFK, and this was related to the tutorial part 3. So I decided to finally try the tutorial and try to break the tutorial part 1 and then try to also lose in the tutorial part 2 and tutorial part 3. So let's start with me trying to break the tutorial part 1. And what's funny is actually it took me literally 1 minute to break the tutorial part 1. So this is what I did. I just ignored the minions, I ran past them, then I got hit by the Scion ult. By the way, Scion ult hitbox is broken and you can even run through the Scion ult that you're gonna see later in the video. And then I just killed the Scion. By the way, Scion doesn't also have a death passive here, but yeah, sure, why would you have the same interaction in tutorial as you have in normal game? But whatever. So I killed the Scion, then I proceeded to get the Lux, and this is where everything broke. As you can see, everything is invisible. I picked the Lux, it teleported me near my inner turret, that is, and everything is invisible. I don't even know where am I. It is possible for me to use spells here, some of them. I successfully managed to use my E and Alt. You can obviously see Alt very easily, and you can also hear that. When it comes to E, you don't really see much, but you can see it grants me vision, so it has to be in this area. So essentially what happened is that everything got invisible. I don't really know where I am at the moment because it's also broken, and it seems that I am teleporting from the inner turret place to the outer turret place for whatever reason. And then I try to use my attack move, but then it shows that I am in a different place than I am actually at the moment. So everything is broken, but what's funny is that you can actually fight the bots that you don't even see. So you see nothing, but as you can see in the video right now, I was essentially able to kill some of the bots with my spells. And it was also possible for me to die, but then when I respawned, the same thing happened. I even respawned near the base, and then when I just clicked once, I suddenly got teleported near the outer turret already, so who the hell knows why, but that's what happens. So I tried to continue this tutorial for like 10 more minutes, and nothing changed. I kept being invisible, everything kept being dark, I couldn't proceed to the next step. Essentially, I just broke the tutorial, and what's funny is that I barely started doing anything and I already broke that. I had no idea that this is possible, no one has told me about it. I just went into the tutorial, I ignored the minions, then I died, and then essentially everything broke. So at this point, basically I managed to fail the tutorial because there's no way for me to complete the tutorial. At some point you can even hear that I was able to auto-attack the turret because you can hear the sound of the turret being damaged, but as you can see in the game, it doesn't seem to take any damage. So you can kill the champions, you can die to champions, you can execute in this state, but you cannot proceed to the next step. So essentially you're done. What's funny is that it is actually pretty easy to recreate that. When I tried it later on, I succeeded, I tried Master E, but I wasn't able to do anything because I didn't really have any spells that could do anything. Then I tried to do the same bug with Ahri, and Ahri is probably a bit better because at least I was able to kill some enemies with my Q, with my E, with my ultimate, so that was a good part, but essentially everything was broken. It blows my mind that it is so easy to break the tutorial. So I think the crucial point of me breaking that was probably ignoring the minions and then interacting somehow with the Scion, because once or twice I also tried the same thing and it worked fine, so I think there has to be a certain interaction with the Scion. Later on I also tried to lose the tutorial by playing normally, but this is pretty much impossible, because the enemy minions disappear when they get close to your outer turret. So there is this wall that makes the minions disappear. I believe there was a very similar interaction in the Nexus Siege game mode. So summing up the tutorial level 1, it is not possible to lose it, but it is possible to break it. So let's go to the tutorial level 2 already. So in this part of the tutorial, you are on the Summoner's Rift in a 5v5 matchup, and I thought it would be funny to try to lose this game and see what happens. Assuming it is of course possible to even lose the tutorial, because as the person from the Reddit thread said, in the third part of the tutorial they went AFK and their bots still won. So I decided to help bots a little bit and feed them as much as I could. Then what I did is I basically tried to gather as many minions at one time to help bots with the push. Most of the time I tried to spend around the top lane, because that's where we had our solo lane and that's where enemies had the duo lane. And what's also important is that the duo lane that enemies had also had Sivir there. So our Sivir was bot lane, but their Sivir was top lane. And as you can imagine, Blitzcrank body defending against Sivir and Malphite wasn't the strongest guy, so what happened is that I helped the enemy bots to get turrets after turrets after turrets, and finally they were able to get the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor, and that's when the job got easier, because they already had the super minions coming, so I just kept gathering the minions to help with other lanes, and what we managed to do is that I actually did manage to lose that game. It didn't even take that much time. I think we lost just after 20 minutes, so that game went pretty smooth. So if you are wondering what happened after I lost, well, color me surprised, but what actually happened, and I don't have that recorded, but you have to trust me, and I'm gonna show you a similar thing later on, is that even after losing the tutorial level 2, I unlocked the tutorial level 3. So you don't even need to win in order to be able to unlock the next stage. So we got the defeat, but we still were able to proceed to the level 3 tutorial. And this is where the things got harder, because in this specific match, not only enemy bots spawn later, so they basically sit in base for 3 minutes and they are released, so our bots already have advantage, but also they have a really bad bots. So their bots are terrible at wave clearing and our bots are very good at it. So for example, the mid lane matchup is Ashe versus Alistar. So even if I feed Alistar a lot, Ashe is still able to kill him 1v1 over and over, because he will be diving Ashe for whatever reason and just dying. Keep in mind that bots are really silly here and they will dive 24/7 if the enemy gets low HP. So that's what happens here. So this one was a real challenge to me. So what I did is, since the bots were in their base for 3 minutes, I decided to feed them. So what I did, I just approached them near their base and I was able to die twice to them before they were even released. So Ezreal in this case got like a free Ruby Crystal in the longsword because of me executing to him. Keep in mind that you dying actually make the bots stronger there. So it's really crucial to not only feed them but also do it properly. Wave management was definitely the hardest thing in here. So I already mentioned the Ashe and Alistar, and Ashe is obviously gonna push the Alistar all the time. In the bot lane we had Brand and Taric versus Ezreal and Galio. On paper their lane may seem better, but what happened in reality that even if my bots were behind because I fed the Ezreal and I kept feeding them, they were still winning when it comes to the pushing power. So I decided to focus my efforts on the top lane again. So in the top lane we had Renekton versus Nasus and Morgana. And this is the problem, because they didn't really have a strong pusher. And what's even worse is that my Renekton decided to build Ravenous Hydra, so his wave clear was actually pretty decent, and the pushing power of Nasus and Morgana isn't very good. So I kept trying to do my best and set up the waves properly. So what I did is I tried to make the waves as big as I can. I kept building the armor so I can survive the minions a bit longer. So I kept circling the waves. So for example, my minion wave can crash into the enemy turret and then their waves come. So, for example, 12 minions come right after my minion wave dies. So it's certain that it will slowly get a very good push. So later on, when the minions get a bit further, right after killing my minions, I was tanking them for a little bit, so they can slowly push and get even bigger. The wave can get even bigger. So I kept doing that as much as I can, and despite all bots working against me, I actually did manage to gather big enough wave for enemy bots to be able to crush the top lane inhibitor turret. Shortly after that, minions were able to actually crush the inhibitor, and that's when the things got a bit easier. A moment after that, they were able to get the second inhibitor. My bots, for whatever reason, were super strong and they kept winning everything. We had super fat Ashe that was basically destroying everyone. So it was really important for me to build the waves properly, this time with super minions, so they can strike at one time. This is just as important as setting the waves properly when you push in normal games. So all of your free waves, for example, hit the Nexus turret at the same time, so enemies cannot just defend it easily. So after a few more minutes of struggling, I actually did manage to do that. We did manage to lose the third part of the tutorial, but it was really hard to do. And this wouldn't be possible without me actually managing the waves and without me feeding the enemies. So even despite the fact that I fed enemies so hard, they were still losing in the 5v4, so it was really important to set up the minion waves properly. So fortunately I managed to succeed, and this is what happened after we lost the game 3. This is what you can see right now, what happened after I got the defeat. Yes, I still passed the tutorial. So even despite the fact that we got the defeat and despite the fact that we lost, I still completed the tutorial. So if you were wondering if you can actually lose the games in tutorial, then yes, you can lose them. And if you were wondering if you can pass the tutorial while losing, then you can actually do that. And this is something I actually didn't expect to happen. Overall, the second and third part of the tutorial were pretty fine, but Riot, please just fix that first part of the tutorial. It's really easy to recreate that, and you don't want the new players to actually experience the game-breaking bugs, because if that ever happens to them, they may never complete the tutorial and they may never play again. So Riot, please try to fix that first part of the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed me trying to break the tutorial. I actually haven't tried that before, and I am super happy about the results we got. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then maybe consider subscribing. If you haven't, then maybe consider unsubscribing or disliking the video. Thank you guys a lot for watching. Take care and have a good day.